कुछ generally कोई change in the pattern?
Started. Start हो गया. Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to this session, the live XAT 2025 analysis. I'm sure all of you were waiting for this. You know, हमने काफी preparation की है for the XAT examination. And today in the live analysis session, हम लोग देखेंगे कि, first of all, I'm sure all of you will share your experiences with us. We have a lot of students who are also connecting with us and sharing their experiences. आप देख सकते हो कि, Amit Sir and I, we have joined in. And we are connecting with the students. वो लोग हमको काफी feedback दे रहे हैं कि XAT का exam कैसे गया है, how was the VA section, how was the DM section and how was the DI section. The first impression जो हम सबको मिल रहा है वो ये है, based on the students experience, हमको जो impression मिल रहा है वो ये है कि the examination is on the
और कुछ anything else?
It was on the difficult side. That's the first impression that we are getting. So guys, I would also encourage all of you to share your feedback with us. Okay, जो भी लोग chat में join कर रहे हैं, please make sure कि आप अपना feedback share करो. Examination आपका कैसे
Number
गया?
of questions?
आपको क्या लगता है कौन सा section आप कैसे कर पाए हो? How was the DM section? How was the VA section? How was the QA section? What kind of questions were you able to answer? What kind of questions were you not able to answer? How much time you took for each section? तो आप भी अपना experience जरूर share करना. Yes, but the first analysis is out. The first impression जो हमको मिल रहा है about the XAT examination is that it was difficult and it was lengthy. Okay, and yes, so we will try and connect with more students. हम लोग topic wise आपके लिए analysis prepare कर रहे हैं. So in terms of, what were the topics जो हर section में आया था, what kind of questions, whether it was as expected or not. But yes, guys, that कभी भी आप देख लो, चाहे वो 2023 हो, 2024 हो, कभी का भी आप XAT exam देख लो, the first impression always is that the XAT paper was difficult.
Yeah.
Okay?
Hi everyone. Hello.
Paper difficult था, paper lengthy था. So yes, we'll go over to Amit Sir and he will, बताएंगे आपको कि कौन से topics आए थे in the XAT examination.
Right. Hi. Hello, ma'am. Thank you so much. Hi, folks. I know some of you all have already given the XAT. Some of you are, waiting for.
Hello, Ayushi. Welcome to the session. Good to see you.
So basically what we've seen overall from, one of our SMEs who've given the XAT, so this is coming from first-hand experience, the paper was a little lengthy, which I think XAT is very familiar with. बहुत famous है XAT का ये कि कोई भी चीज, simple सी चीज को भी बड़ा चढ़ा के लंबा चौड़ा करके बताने का. But what we have seen are, some different kind of questions asked. One major important thing is in VA, right? In VALR, we got a comic based question, which we've not seen earlier, right, Ritu ma'am? ये हमने पहले कभी देखा नहीं है. It's a comic based question जहां पे in a picture there is a man walking with a dog and proper comic type है. आपने if you've read newspapers, Garfield वगैरह के कैसे comics आते हैं, उस type के basis पे था, where there are dialogues and a man seems sad and the dog says that he has to pretend to be happy to make sure that the man is happy, right? Something like that. And there was a description based question. So this is something that we've seen after a very long time or for the first time. What do you say, Ritu ma'am? Ma'am, can you hear me? All right. Anyway, so I'll go ahead. The RC was quite similar. RC बहुत similar था. Usual kind of passages थे. With poem, we've seen more abstract based poem. Sentence correction was your standard usual sentence correction question.
Yes, the poem comprehension question जो है वो हर साल XAT का एक staple feature है. हर साल XAT में one poem question always आता है. But the RC, as usual, okay, sentence correction के question. See, when it comes to the VA section, the pattern was more or less as expected. RC था, poem comprehension है, vocabulary based questions है, and the sentence correction questions as well. So if we're getting in more data, so if you could tell us the exact breakdown of questions. Yes.
Exact breakdown of questions बता सकते हैं आप मानस? VALR में?
Let's more of our SMEs are contacting us and they are updating us about the paper. And yes, the first impression is definitely that the paper was difficult. The first impression is the paper was difficult. The first impression is that the paper was lengthy. Yes, as expected for the XAT examination.
Okay.
No, the paper was not easy, as this is the first impression that we are getting. So RCs, para jumbles, yes, आप सर के बोर्ड पे देख सकते हो.
Right, or
it was little difficult. Yes. Okay. So, like, guys, can you tell us how many questions were you able to attempt? If you could share with us the number of questions that you were able to attempt per section.
Okay. Okay. So what we've seen is reading comprehension. We've got 4 passages with 3 questions each. Poem में abstract based ज़्यादा था बोल रहे with 2 poems. Sentence correction के 2 questions थे. One was that the picture based question, 2 parajumbles, and about 3 critical reasoning questions. So this is basically what we have seen. Yeah, DM questions were too lengthy. Yes, I've also got that from my SMEs. Thank you so much, beta. DM के questions lengthy थे. Even if the passage given, the instructions given छोटा था, but the questions were still lengthy again. So DM, this time we've seen extremely lengthy questions in DM. DI में for a change, I think DI में this time we got a question from maps, right? Which was based on concepts of triangles where you had to identify the similar triangles and find out the shortest path. This again something that we have not seen XAT do very frequently. Apart from that, we've seen one 4x4 grid based question जो distribution based question है missing data के साथ. We've seen average based questions in that जहां पे 4x4 का मैट्रिक्स दिया हुआ था and उसमें आपको एवरेज दिया हुआ था and you had to find out the missing pieces in between. Apart from that, quant के जो questions थे were your usual quant ke questions. However, what we've seen with quant is that some questions were direct, right? Unlike usual that kuch questions aise the which were direct also, and some optimization based questions as well, right? So optimization based question bhi aaya hai jahan pe there are 50 people, top 5 ka average, bottom 5 ka average, question like that. We've seen DI mein line graph. We were kind of expecting this, that we will get graph based questions, of course, right? But this time I think the graph was very annoying, right? There were 2 graphs, line graphs, 2 graphs. Her graph mein there were 10 lines representing the average income of male and female. So you're looking at 2 huge data filled graphs and you're answering questions based out of that. Geometry bhi bhar bhar ke tha kya? I'm getting a comment on our video. Geometry bhi bhar bhar ke tha. Is that true, buddy? Manas. Okay. Correct, correct. Correct, correct. Yeah, so equation based tha, coordinate geometry ke questions the. We got a graph, we got a geometry based DI question. So that's more geometry, and then we've got volume based question also. Okay. Okay, okay. Volume of a frustrum based question tha, where you had to find out the cost of the amount of gold used to cover that. Okay, or hmm. Okay, game based, nice. Game based जहाँ पे you have a 16 cell in a matrix form जहाँ पे you have to drop eggs and you identify के कौन सा egg, am I right? अंडा. Okay, yeah. Right, so game based DI भी आ गया है. Individual quant का question था, my bad. Individual quant का question था where you know apply your puzzle mind there to identify the number of iterations there. Superb, nice. Perfect. So overall, what do you think, buddy? What was the difficulty level? Was it completable? Paper complete कर पाए थे क्या? Were you able to see the 75 questions in those 170 minutes? Mm-hmm. Okay. Mm-hmm. Right. DM was lengthy, was difficult because it was filled with data, too much information. The paper overall was lengthy, like you normally expect with that, but this time I think quant and VLR were a little on the easier side, right? Not not very complex. Hmm. Okay. Okay. Similar to last year. Nice. Okay. Great, man. Thank you. And also, acha, calculator. With calculator, guys, what was your experience? Bataiye, Karam, Ram, Ayushi, Decode. With calculator, I've heard that it was similar to CAT. Am I right, Manas? हाँ. It was Saksham. It was similar to CAT क्या? No other functions जैसे कोई trigonometry या logarithm थे क्या? I can't hear you guys. हाँ. Calculator कैसा था? What was the interface of the calculator? So you're saying trigonometric थे, logarithmic थे, सारे functions थे उसमें? Okay, trigonometric, logarithmic functions भी थे. Okay, nice. And क्या कोई questions था जो direct calculator में डाल के answer कर पाते? Okay. Okay. Exactly. So a calculator just made most of the calculation based questions easily, especially these mensuration based questions जहाँ पे आपको direct formula है and you have to apply the data there and calculation lengthy हो जाता है. Otherwise, yeah, so we've seen something a little bit beyond what we've seen in CAT, है ना? CAT से भी थोड़ा ऊपर दिया है. They've given trigonometric and logarithmic functions also, I've heard. Superb. Okay, application based questions. Okay, nice. Perfect. Do you know circle to square वाले question का क्या आंसर आया था? Someone's asking the ratio of pi is to 4 is the right answer. Yeah, pi is to 4. So me beta, that is the answer. How about the logarithmic question? Logarithm based जो question था? Okay. So the answer for the logarithm based question was 2 कैंसल आउट हो रहे थे टर्म्स या नाइस ओके ओके अच्छा अच्छा ठीक है ठीक है ठीक है डन इक्वेशन बेस्ड था जिसका आंसर 2 आया परफेक्ट नाइस बढ़िया ग्रेट है सो व्हाट डू यू थिंक अबाउट द अटेम्प्ट्स कितने अटेम्प्ट्स होने चाहिए फ्रॉम अ स्टूडेंट पर्सपेक्टिव व्हाट्स द गुड नंबर ऑफ अटेम्प्ट्स
गुड नंबर ऑफ अटेम्प्ट्स तो डीएम में आई थिंक 17 to 18 मतलब जनरली एक सेट तो कुछ ज्यादा ही लंबा था बट आई थिंक कि टाइम लिमिट में 6 कम से कम जरूर कर सकते हैं
6 ओके
हाँ तो अराउंड 17 to 18 डिसीजन मेकिंग
ओके
वर्बल एबिलिटी आई थिंक कि अगर आई थिंक अराउंड 20 प्लस अटेम्प्ट दिए जा सकते थे अराउंड
20 प्लस अटेम्प्ट्स ओके
मतलब क्योंकि उसमें एक आरसी था जो थोड़ा डिफिकल्ट था तो उसको स्टेट वाइज एलिमिनेट कर सकते थे बाकी जो एक पैरासिम्बल्स वगैरह थे वो थोड़े डिफिकल्ट लाइन पे थे बट आई थिंक एनीवेयर अराउंड 18 to 20 अटेम्प्ट कर किए जा सकते थे बट डेफिनेटली वर्बल थोड़ा सा ट्रिकियर साइड पे था मेरे
right verbal was trickier nice okay so great then I think compared to last year it was on the same lines कोई ज्यादा difference नहीं है except for DM being extremely lengthy sets were easy but questions were lengthy QA was on the same lines a little bit on the easier side you're saying and VA was similar acha DI was similar to a little more difficult right
I think a little bit more difficult according to
VA was more difficult. Okay. VA was more difficult, they're saying. Okay. Okay. Mm-hmm. Perfect. Perfect, buddy. Great. Mm-hmm. Okay. Nice. Superb. Perfect, boss. Great. So I think, then in that case, with the number of attempts, I think we'll, come up with a proper data. Jab aayega, tab we'll be able to give you the right number of attempts that you should get. But I think if you are, attempting something in the range, if your score is somewhere in the range of same 36 to 40, I think it'll still fetch you 99th percentile. That's what we've seen last year, and that's what we've seen, in the years before that also. So I think with that, anything else you'd like to add, buddy? How was the experience with the no sectional timing?
सर वो नो सेक्शनल टाइमिंग में जो बेनिफिट होता है कि फर्स्ट राउंड में आप इंटरेक्ट करके जितने भी क्वेश्चन आपको इजी लग रहे हैं वो आप मैक्सिमम पहले क्या होता है कि अगर सिर्फ क्वांट भी कर
राइट
क्वांट ऐसा कर सकते हैं बट इसमें क्या है कि आप एक बार पूरे पेपर को बना सकते हो सारी इजी क्वेश्चन को पिक करके और उसके बाद जब भी आपका टाइम परमिट करता है तो आप वापस क्वांट से फिर वर्बल पे भी आ सकते हो या फिर डीएम पे आ सकते हो
करेक्ट सो ये जो नेविगेट कर पा रहे थे सेक्शंस के अक्रॉस फ्रॉम क्वांट टू VLR टू DM वाज वेरी beneficial if you are able to pick up the right kind of questions, which I think we've already discussed in the strategy, and that's what you should have also done. Perfect, bro. Done. Any other changes in the interface or anything else, pattern कुछ भी कोई changes? DI के क्वेश्चंस कम थे क्या? I can't hear you.
पता नहीं कम 3 DI के सेट तो मेरे को याद है और उसके अलावा मतलब आई थिंक ओवरऑल इट्स सिमिलर.
Okay. There were at least 3 sets they're saying. Okay, perfect, bro. Nice. There were probability based questions, algebra geometry based question, time speed based questions.
हाँ.
perfect. Great. Then time speed distance के बेस के क्वेश्चन का कुछ बता सकते हो, or you can give me some gist on that?
Time speed distance, अच्छा एक टाइम स्पीड ये वाला था, एक सर्कुलर ट्रैक दिया हुआ था,
Okay.
बताया हुआ था कि सर्कुलर ट्रैक के 5 पॉइंट के डस्टबिन है,
Okay.
ये नहीं बताया था इक्वली डिस्टेंस है, वो बता रखा था रैंडमली कि 5 पॉइंट पे डस्टबिन अलग अलग जगह पे रखे हुए हैं। राइट। और कोई बंदा मॉर्निंग वॉक पे जाता है, तो वो बता रहे थे कि 2 डस्टबिन के बीच का मैक्सिमम मिनिमम डिस्टेंस फर्स्ट से सेकंड में उसको मिनिमम जाने में 800 स्टेप्स लग रहे थे।
800?
हाँ 800, किसी भी एक डस्टबिन से दूसरे डस्टबिन में जाने में, जस्ट सबसे डस्टबिन में जाने में मिनिमम 800 लग रहे थे।
Okay.
और किसी एक डस्टबिन से तीसरे डस्टबिन में जाने में उसको मैक्सिमम 1200 कुछ स्टेप्स लगे थे।
1200 steps?
1260
steps, okay. Nice.
बताना था क्या बताना था
रेडियस क्या हो सकता है ऑफ द ट्रैक?
ऑफ द पार्क।
ओह अच्छा, रेंज में थे आंसर्स, ओके, ग्रेट. Yeah, so it looks like what you cannot completely get from what I'm saying, but जिन्होंने दिया है, I think they'd be able to understand that it was a circular track with dustbin at 5 different points. उनके बीच के distances नहीं दिए हुए थे. Man was at a morning walk. They said that the minimum distance between any two dustbins was around 800 steps, and the maximum difference between first and the third one, or and every alternate was 1260 steps, and the question was asking for the radius ka range of the park.
उसमें ये भी दिया हुआ था कि वो उस बंदे की एक स्टेप में 0.77 मीटर कवर करता है, तो उसमें वो कन्वर्ट हो जाता है.
ओके, ग्रेट. पर स्टेप का डिस्टेंस दिया हुआ था. ओके. अच्छा, क्वाड्रेटिक इक्वेशन रूट्स बेस्ड क्वेश्चन. A plus B will be greater than
9.
Okay, so A plus B should be a 2-digit number greater than 9 होना चाहिए. A and B individually were single digit numbers less than equal to 9, positive integers. अच्छा. Nice. And the roots के बारे में कुछ बोला था, positive roots है या equal roots, ऐसा कुछ? Irrational roots थे. Perfect, nice. Correct. Discriminant की value निकालो, that should be less than 0, it should be negative. क्या? कितना क्या था आंसर इसका? अच्छा, none of these था. Okay. Nice. Okay, done. I think this is more than sufficient. Thank you so much, Manas Saksham, for joining us. I think we've given a very good info on the kind of paper this year's XAT was. आपको अगर if you have any more questions, any more queries, Abhishek, Zahir is saying Game of Thrones was rocking in XAT. What? I don't think that would have happened, but if it did, then it would have been legendary. Right, superb. So this time, in terms of the changes, I think what we have seen is one, that the calculator was there, made quant a little more easier and doable, and we had a new type of a question in VALR that had a picture with a man and a dog walking his dog, and there were dialogues, and the question was based on the description of that particular image. Perfect, boss. The paper was lengthy. It was tough to comprehend the questions in one go. Standard XAT things है ये. Normally भी, even if you are not in the testing environment, अगर आप normally भी previous year question जब आप देखते हैं, even then you would feel like the question is undoable in the first go. You have to read it at least twice to understand the kind of information that they've given and how is it relevant or pertaining to the question. So that was there. That I think is the usual thing that they normally do. Ritu ma'am, any other information that you've received?
Yes, so as जैसे Saksham और Manas ने बोला, so even I was just looking at the questions that you have written down, and yes, जैसे आपने बोला कि the picture thing was very unusual, it has never been asked in any examination, and a lot of students are also saying कि एक new question था, cartoon image पर question था, so that's why, so that, and even it's moving more and more and more towards the critical reasoning lines. So yes, and I would actually like to ask the learners. So I think our learners would now require, कि उनके attempts कितने थे, and let's just tell them कि, like what would be a safe, because what they shared with us was, that they were able to do about, let's say, if I'm talking about VRC, so they were able to do about, 15 to 16 questions were doable in nature. So that is pretty good, So I want to know from the learners as well कि आपने कितने attempts किए per section. Yes, sir. आपको भी क्या लगता है कि as you said, the cutoffs are going to be more on the same lines as last year. So what do you think, sir, कि क्या cutoffs होने चाहिए? What would be a safe bet, in terms of the number of attempts?
Ma'am, I think
cutoffs and
irrespective
percentiles. So yes, as Nikita is also asking, cutoffs and percentiles.
Level.
So if it goes according to last year, okay, could you tell us your number of attempts, guys, in the chat box? जो लोग ये session live देख रहे हो, could you tell us your number of attempts that you've made per section? तब तक I will. Yes, sir. Sir, do you want to add into this?
No, I'm just happy to know that XAT has accepted Game of Thrones as a part of, I think, RC, if I'm not wrong. Winterfell, you know nothing, Jon Snow. Anyway, yeah, so for me, I think it's not going to, change a lot with respect to what we've seen in the last year, because the paper was on the same lines in terms of difficulty level. DM और ज़्यादा difficult हुआ है. VA was on the more difficult side, but Quant and DI were in the same lines, they are saying. So I think there should not be much change in the sense of percentile and the number of good attempts. 68, someone says 75 questions में से 68 उन्होंने attempt किए हैं, 7 questions उन्होंने छोड़े हैं because 7 तलब for a reason. Why? 38 sounds like a good number, Abhishek. 38 sounds like a good number. 38 with good accuracy, that's the kind of number that you should, aim at.
Yeah, so if I were going to say, like, for example, students पूछ रहे कि score क्या होगा, so I would say around, if अगर हम 99 percentile ले, so we can always, we always say कि safe, like, if you're aiming for 99 percentile, you're somewhere going to land a score of about 34 to 35. Right, an overall score of about 34 to 35. You can agree or disagree with this, sir. You can add in your expectations. But yes, if you're going along the same pattern as last year, so this is more to do with, last year भी हमने ऐसा ही observe किया था. So around 34 to 35 would be a 99 percentile. And हम बोल सकते हैं कि if you're looking for a 95 percentile का mark, then आपका score हो सकता है somewhere around about 26 to 27 का score अगर हम पकड़े, so this would be a 95 percentile का mark, and I would say this is something that you should be targeting if you're looking at XLRI Jamshedpur. So generally, apart from the fact that male, female, engineer, non-engineer, उसके basis पे score definitely fluctuate होता है. You're given an advantage if you're non-engineer, and you're given a little bit of an advantage if you're female. वैसे हमको देखने को मिलता है. But yes, I would say that this would be a safe bracket for XLRI Jamshedpur. And जैसे students बता रहे हैं, देखते हैं कि let me just go through your comments as well. DM easy लगा मुझे. Okay, I would say 27, 28 will fetch 96. Yes, Abhishek also feels the same. Correct. So yes, generally this is somewhere where the XAT usually lands you to.
Yep.
Okay. I'll just take up a student question.
I
didn't VLR and DM में कभी 98 percentile से नीचे नहीं आया. CAT में भी 98 है. I focused on attempts because that's how I always maximize score. And yes, when it comes to the XAT examination,
correct.
Yeah,
see, the idea everywhere is the same. Agar attempts honge tabhi score aayega, but your attempt should be confident about your attempts that they are right. It's just not about attempting more questions and then getting more score, but about getting them right also. So even if your attempts are high, but you've answered more correct questions, only then you're getting the score for that. On the other hand, agar zyada wrong ho jate, then you know start getting lower scores because of the negative marking. But any which ways, whatever works for you. So I think with this, shall we end this, ma'am? Ritu ma'am, if there's anything else you'd like to add. Chalo, I think we are done. Thank you so much, everybody, for being a part of this. Yes, don't worry, XAT is done. So, right, we still have a CMAT to give. If you're preparing for CMAT, then drop it in the comments. If you're preparing for CMAT, we'll bring in more content for CMAT as well.
Yes.
And with
one
XAT,
more
any
that,
more
I wanted
data
to
we
ask
get.
our students over here is if they could also mention, which colleges that they are targeting, because when you look at XAT, there are certain top colleges that students generally target. So आप लोग किस मतलब of course it's XLRI Jamshedpur for most of them, whether it's XLRI Jamshedpur, XLRI Delhi, this is the college 90 का score बताओ. Okay, so Mohan has a question कि 90 percentile के लिए क्या
By
score
Mohan, I
चाहिए?
think we'll bring
So
a
I would say
proper
90
video
percentile
on what
के लिए
the
आपको roughly
expectations.
22.
Yeah.
You can say around 22 का score लग सकता है. This would be around 90 percentile.
Okay, done then, guys. Thank you so much for being a part of this. कोई भी अगर आपकी queries हो, drop it in the comments and we'll personally make sure that they are answered. For proper analysis on the score to percentile and what we think is a good attempt for that, we'll bring up separate videos for that. I hope the session was helpful for you. Ab jao, I know that is not an easy test to give. It is extremely strainful, or you would have stretched your body way beyond its limit. तो अभी जाओ, properly relax करो. Take a day's gap and then get back on the horse again, because you still have CMAT to give. Your CAT is done, your SNAP, your NMATs are done. Now the only thing that you are left to focus on would be your CMAT and CETs if you are giving them. So with that, let's end the session. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Ritu ma'am. Thank you so much, guys, for all your inputs. Cheers. All the very best, folks. Bye.
Thank you so much, everyone. All the best. Bye-bye, and we'll see you soon. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.